Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to spend some time with me on the video today. Actually down here at Table Rock Lake today, guys, and there is not a better time. We have a perfect example of a bluebird sky, sunny conditions, and I want to talk to you guys today about how to catch bass when you have days like this. Sunny, tough conditions. You can see here on the lake, not much wind. Probably, depending upon the time of year, it can be really tough or it can be really good. So we're going to give you that good juice here in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, I want to remind you that my Vexus 1980 right here, this is my Vexus AVX 1980 here. Been running this boat for the last couple months. I'll be running it all year. We're going to have this boat for sale, I think, in June down at Branson West Marine and Powersports in Branson, Missouri. If you guys are interested in purchasing my boat here in June, just give Branson West a call. Tell them that you saw the video here. They'll probably give you a good deal on it. And also, guys, whoever buys the boat, I'll take you guys out personally on Table Rock Lake, which is about 5 miles away from the dealership, and run you guys through the whole rig, tell you guys really everything about it. And real quick on the boat, guys, I have never been in an aluminum boat that is as smooth riding as this Vexus 1980. Or has more storage in it. I think you guys will really like it. So anyway, Branson West Marine, link in the description of this video. Okay, guys, bluebird sunny days, just like we have right here. Now, this is a complex topic. When we talk about this, as far as what the fish do and how you need to fish under these conditions, that literally we could talk for all day long on it, because there's so many different variables involved in how you need to approach it and how you need to fish it. Things like water temperature, water clarity, species of the bass you're fishing for, the wind conditions. But what I really like to do in today's video, guys, is I really just sort of want to give you guys just sort of a basic foundation a little bit. It's just some foundational advice on, what to do when you got bright sunny days like this. So first of all, when you're considering the techniques that you want to use on sunny days, two primary factors are going to determine your techniques. There's the water clarity and the water temperature in relationship to the bright sunny skies here. That's going to give you a good indication of where those fish are going to be at, the type of cover you need to fish, and the techniques that you need to fish. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions in fishing, sorry about the noise, guys, there's a road right there by the lake here. But one of the big misconceptions is, bass don't like bright bluebird days because maybe it hurts their eyes. That doesn't hurt their eyes, because in a lot of situations, bass love bright sunny days, even in clear water. I have seen thousands of bass cruising in 1.5 or 2 foot of water in gin clear water. So they're not victims of their environment like that. One of the things that's going to be really key in any type of a bright condition like this, especially dependent upon the water clarity, is shade. Unless you're dealing with a muddy water environment, like where the water visibility is, say, under 12 inches or so, under 8 to 12 inches, shade is a key factor. And the reason that the bass use shade is not because it's easier on their eyes or anything. It's because shade offers them an ambush point. Shade is cover. So that's why in most sunny, bright sunny days, you're always going to be better, or do better, concentrate on the shade lines and the shade pockets and shady areas. That's why on bright sunny days, like fishing around boat docks are good, fishing around overhanging trees, fishing around banks that are catching more shade, based upon the angle of the bank. It's a low light environment. It makes the fish more aggressive. Like I said, it gives them an ambush point to attack prey on. So that is a primary thing that you always have to focus on, especially in shallow water when you're fishing on a bright sunny days. Look for those shady areas. That's going to be the best area. Now, if you're not fishing around any shade and you're on a bright sunny day like today, or like we have today, the wind in correlation with the water clarity is going to be really, really key on there. Very similar to how, the bass relate to shade. They will prefer windy areas most of the time, again, unless it's pretty dirty out there. Wind helps break up the surface a little bit, makes them feel a little bit more secure, makes them a little bit more aggressive. So another thing to look for, in addition to shade on these windy days, shade on the sunny days, is look for windy areas. Those are always going to be better areas. Now, the only two exception to the rule of the shade and the wind is going to be if the water is cold or, like I said, off colored. If the water temperatures are like in the 40s, something like that, the shade and the wind are not going to be that big a factor. In fact, they can hurt you sometimes. Those cold water temperatures, it just seems like the bass, you know, the mood and the personality and their metabolism, they like, you know, those type of days out there where they don't really need shade and they don't really need wind. But for the rest of the year, anytime that water temperature is over about 50 degrees, wind and shade are really going to be your friends in that type of a situation. Now, also, time of the year has a big impact on how you need to fish when it's sunny out. Now, one of the things that I always try to look for most of the year, since I do fish shallow water most of the year, is I'm looking for targets that provide some type of shade or cover on a sunny day. But the exception to that rule, or there's two different exceptions. Number one is in the springtime of the year, in and around the spawn time. Within several weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks before and after the spawn and during the spawn, bass could care less about clouds. They're up and they're in that shallow water, they're cruising, they're looking for areas to build beds, they're bedding, or they're actually spawning, they're guarding fry after they're spawning. And in a situation like that, you can get on the sunniest, calmest banks that you want to, and you're still going to catch a lot of fish. But that's a short window of time. And then the other time that the sunny days and not much wind or not much clouds helps out is certain times of the year for topwater fishing. If you're fishing a topwater lure during the post-spawn time of the year, like May and early June, or in the fall time of the year, some of the best topwater fishing you're going to have is going to be on these bright sunny days with not much wind, if you got water visibilities of over about 3 or 4 feet. Those fish can see a topwater lure from a long way away under those conditions. And again, the mood and the personality of the bass are really conducive to getting those fish to come up on a bait. Now, some of my favorite techniques and favorite lures for a sunny day, obviously, since I'm concentrating on shade, you know, any type of pitching and flipping bait's good. You know, a jig, a creature bait, a worm, anything that I can penetrate that cover with. One of my favorite ways to fish on a sunny day is to pick apart shallow cover like docks and lay down trees and flooded bushes if there's any high water, looking for those little shade pockets, you know, penetrating with those slow baits out there. Other times of the year, depending upon the water temperature, a jerkbait can be really good in sunny days, especially if you have a wind, because the light intensity of a bright day and the wind combined with that, it gives those fish a chance to see a bait from a long way away. So that can be some pretty good fishing. And you can't discount your finesse fishing techniques like Ned rig, shaky head, wacky rig, something like that is always going to be better. Now, for the most part, what you're going to find, unless you have a really, really windy day, your slower baits are going to be better on these bright days. Any lure that is on the bottom, because in general, for the most part, now there's always exceptions to the rule, bass don't want to chase too much on a bright sunny day. That's why they're hunkered down more on the bottom, and your bottom baits are going to be more consistent. But there are situational times when those moving power baits can be pretty good when you take advantage of the sight aspect that the increased light intensity brings into the water. And under those conditions, sometimes like a glide bait or a swim bait can be, you know, really good too, because the fish can pick them up and see them from a long way away. But anyway, it's hard, you know, I can't really give you guys like a textbook deal. It's like, this is what you need to do under every condition, because when you're talking about a bright day like this, and when I'm talking about bright sunny conditions, I'm talking about like what we have now, where there's not a cloud in the sky, because even a partly cloudy sky, it will break up that light intensity and make the light intensity different. But on days like today, specifically what we're going to talk about, but factoring into that are varying degrees of water clarity and water tint. I mean, you've got water clarities around the country anywhere between 3 inches of visibility to 30 foot of visibility. And that is going to work in correlation with your water temperature and your wind speed and your wind direction, in correlation with the bright and sunny days out there. So every situation is different, and again, every species reacts different. A largemouth and a smallmouth and a spotted bass will all tend to react differently to bright sunny days. In general, a smallmouth bass is much less affected by a bright sunny day. They tend to not need to have that shade like a largemouth does. Spotted bass, that they'll bite really good on bright sunny days too, but normally they're a little bit deeper. From what I have found is that in bright sunny days, the largemouth tend to like to hold tighter to cover. Spotted bass like to suspend, and smallmouth bass will just roam around and they'll bite anything on a sunny day, especially the northern tier smallmouth lake. So it's just a few thoughts, guys, here. Just like I said, it's it's not, there's not like a textbook thing for any situation. Everything's going to be different. Type of cover that you have is going to be different. You may have a lake that's got grass in it, or different varying degrees of different type of cover, so that's going to present a different circumstance to you. But overall, guys, if I could give you one piece of advice on a bright sunny day, fish your slow bottom baits. Your consistency is going to be a lot higher with that. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.